Well, hello there, my friends. It's Mrsroedee coming to you with this week's weigh-in chat. Yes, I did go and weigh in today. It is Saturday and not Friday. I was not up to going into the meeting yesterday. I just did not feel well. My allergies are really getting to me. So I went in this morning, and I'll let you know up front that I was able to maintain again this week. Very excited about that. Even more excited to hear from my coach that November 15th is my target date to make Lifetime, which seems to me that date when I was like a little bit taken aback, saying, wow, that's really close. I don't know why, but I feel like it's close. Maintaining is not going to change after that date. I will only be required to attend a meeting a month and weigh in, or go into weigh in once a month, I should say. After that, so I will still be dealing with the day-to-day of trying to keep the weight off. And it is challenging, as they say it would be. They told me that. But hopefully as time passes, I'll get better and better at it. That's really what I'm hoping for. And if I go back a little bit, then I'll just have to fix it and go forward again, right? That's all we can do. We can hope, and we can make our best effort. And after that, I don't know what else to say, right? That's what we're all doing. We're trying to balance it out. It's always a balancing game. It's always, some days are harder than others. Some meals are harder than others. But in the end, if we keep making our effort and we don't give up, I always say this, just don't give up. Even if you went through a really bad time. There was a woman in the meeting today, really had a bad week, and I felt very badly for her. She ended up losing 1.2 unexpectedly, but it didn't really change how she felt about her week. She wasn't expecting a loss, and not even of that amount, but she really was very flustered about how her week went. And sometimes you got to just give yourself some grace. In the end of the day, I really believe it's very important to do that. Not always easy, but if you can manage to do that for yourself, you will be much better off in the long run, I believe anyway. So what was the meeting about? We, in the beginning of the meeting, talked a lot about motivation. What makes you get your mojo on? How many people in the room have had times when we're not motivated? And everybody raised their hand. There must have been about 20 people in the room today, including the coach, naturally, and the guide. Who hasn't had that? You know, you go through the hunt. One other person said she restarted. She just rejoined, and she's doing very well for the last 2 weeks. She's on plan, tracking, and all that. You know, in the beginning, when we start something new, isn't it always wonderful? It's like a honeymoon. And then as time goes on, different things happen. Stuff gets in the way. Maybe we get a little bored. And we have to find ways to keep going. And sometimes we don't keep going. We become very unmotivated. Myself, top of that list, more than once, many more times than once. And I often say, if I could bottle that, the solution to not being motivated, I would be a billionaire. I wish that I could tell you the answer to that. What motivates me? I get up in the morning and I'm doing it kind of person. Always have been. Until that morning comes, I can keep trying, and I always do, but it won't work until that morning comes where the light bulb goes off and I'm on and I'm going forward and charging. Let me know in the comments, please, how you get motivated. What gets you remotivated to being on your plan, whatever your plan may be. I think it might be different for all of us, you know. Is it for your health? Is that enough of a motivator? For me, several years ago, when I lost a tremendous amount of weight in a short time, it was because I thought I was going to die. I think that's a great motivator. I prefer not to have somebody be in that position. That's, you know, we don't want to get to that point, but for me, things caught up with me very quickly, and I did a 360, and I got that weight off. And I pretty much maintained it for several years. And I've told you all about that before. I don't need to tell you that again. But, needing to get yourself healthy again, I would say is a motivator. But sometimes, maybe you have an event coming up. Somebody's getting married. It's an important wedding. It's a child or a sister or brother, and you need to be at a certain weight to fit in the dress or whatever, what have you. That could motivate you, but I don't think that motivation is a long-term one. For myself included, about 8 years ago, I had 2 events coming up. I went on Nutrisystem. I got 25 pounds off. Never really went down as far as I had planned. Went to the events, and then back to not so much automatically gaining it back, but it did come back on, most of it anyway. So, I don't know. I'd be interested to know what you think, though. Please share if you don't mind. And what was the topic that we were talking about today? That was the actual topic with the technique. It's swaps. How to save points by swapping things out in your recipes. So I think pretty much if you've been around the block a while and been on any kind of weight loss plan, even this WW or anyone, we know swapping is going to decrease point values. It's going to decrease sometimes fat values, sometimes carbohydrate values. Sometimes we increase protein values by swapping things out if we want to do that. And so we talked about swapping applesauce out in a cake recipe, or at least some applesauce and some oil. Cutting back on oil and adding in some applesauce if you can't take out all the oil. Using substitute sweeteners. Cutting back on the sugar. If you're keeping the sugar in, some people can't use substitute sweeteners, or they don't like them. So finding a way to sweeten it up by, in the case of, let's say, Michelle, my coach, was making her husband a carrot cake for his birthday. And I think it was 57 points a slice, her original recipe. So she got it down to 21 points a slice. And it did have some cream cheese icing on it. But she decreased significantly by cutting the oil back, cutting the sugar all the way back, adding in more carrots, that kind of thing. So does it always have to be that we switch out? I ate some cheese in my salad today. I ate some very good Italian cheese, 2 different kinds, 1 ounce all together. And it was Asiago cheese, and it was another type of cheese. And it was delicious. It was very flavorful. So in this case, I used the full fat, about 100 calories worth. And the flavor, it was very small piece, but the flavor was in the entire salad. I mean, in every bite. I cut up very small. In every bite, I had great flavor of those cheeses, and I was missing nothing, only having 1 ounce in there. Now, I could use Kraft fat-free mozzarella cheese. I think it's too much. I'd rather use the low fat when I use shred the cheese, because to me the fat-free is just too much. You have to spray it with olive oil spray, which is not a big deal to get it to melt. But do I want to have a half a cup of shredded cheese in my salad to get to not even 100 calories? That would be like 90 calories. That would be a little bit too much. And the flavor isn't there. I'll be honest with you. I would rather spend the points, or in this case, a Power Fuel gets switched out. I'd have less for the amount in my Power Fuel and enjoy those cheeses that I had today, or even the queso blanco that I had yesterday. If you watch my video, or actually if you're in the Facebook group, I didn't do what I eat in a day. I did post my lunch, and in there I had 1 ounce of the queso blanco, which was very nice and delicious, as opposed to having 90 calories worth of fat-free shredded mozzarella. Sometimes I want that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I really want to enjoy a cheese that is a high-fat cheese. But again, small amount, but the flavor is going to be there. Same thing what I always say about grated cheese. Grate your own cheese. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It really doesn't. It is so worth it. And it's like 20 calories a tablespoon, and you're getting all cheese flavor in there. You only need a tablespoon, even if you put it in a salad. So that's it in terms of what the meeting was about, what we discussed. Um, if you can swap out for less points without losing taste, that's another big thing to me. My food has to taste good. I say it all the time. If your food is not really that palatable to you, how long do you think you're going to last in your plan? How long is it going to be before it goes bottoms up for you? Because you're not really enjoying what you're eating. Think about that. Find ways to do swaps, but make sure that you're not swapping out the enjoyment of the food while you're doing it. Have a little less of it as opposed to more, but make sure that you enjoy it, because otherwise, what's the point? How long are we going to be able to do this? Right? So anyway, on that note, I'm going to say bye for now. I'm going to thank you very, very much for having shared the time in your day with me by watching this video. And I'm going to see you next time when I make the next one. Be well. Take good care. Thank you very much once again. And goodbye for now. See you soon.